leader of this delegation to state the purpose of his visit.
Who is already dressed for inspection of road projects. This is Senator Mbigi, the distinguished Senator Bello, one time, immediate past governor of Niger State, and chairman of the Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs, and all the distinguished senators here present, who have been introduced one after the other, the Chief of Staff to the Senate President, special advisors, and I now once again welcome our esteemed guests, the Chairman of the National Assembly Service Commission, Engineer Ahmed Kadiamshi, FNSA. Most, I'm a fellow. Thank you. Of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. I'm a fellow. Forget the father, I'm a lawyer. I construct very well. Then, Executive Chairman of National Assembly Service Commission, outgoing. The members, esteemed members of the National Assembly Service Commission, very able members of the National Assembly Service Commission, drawn from all the zones of the Federation. I welcome you to the office of the Senate President and Chairman of the National Assembly. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, for me, it is a day of mixed feelings. A feeling of joy that you have been able to save your country through the National Assembly Service Commission for a clear 5 years without any mishap. So I congratulate you for that. So I'm happy in that respect. A bit sad in the sense that I'm also going to miss many of you, particularly the chairman of the commission, a very amiable, a very accommodating, and a very experienced public servant. Even before listening to the achievements, I could imagine that a man who approaches his work with calmness, no matter the fire, he will always be calm. That definitely you will achieve a lot. And I'm very proud of the achievements that you have met in the last 5 years. There is no doubt that the legislature cannot achieve much if we do not support our staff, and if our staff are not well trained, and if they are not well enabled, and if they are not well motivated, and if they are not well managed. I think that summarizes what the National Assembly Service Commission stands for. We will do our best to carry on the legacies you have left behind. The National Assembly Service has moved in leaps and bounds from the number of secretaries who are equated with PEM6, permanent secretaries of civil service and other public services. You call them secretaries of the commissions. You have improved the number in order to expand the coast to enable people to rise, to avoid stagnation. We have also established a lot of directorates in order to give more opportunities to the staff to be elevated to various positions as directors. You have ensured training and retraining And then, of course, continuous on-hand training for them to perform their services. We have undertaken collaboration with the states' assemblies commissions by visiting various states of the Federation, interacting with the governors, interacting with your colleagues at the state level, and even states that did not have the Assembly Service Commission now have. In all, we have undertaken even outside trips. You didn't carry me along, but at least you were able to carry the chairman of establishment along in some of those trips to learn how the other countries are managing the staff of their various national assemblies. Collectively, you have improved the working conditions in the National Assembly. We are very proud of your achievements. So we want to say congratulations. I would like the presentation of your reports to the leadership, presiding officers particularly of the National Assembly, to be on a year-by-year basis and not all being presented at the same time when you are leaving. Yes, you normally send a copy, but do small ceremony and come in and explain like this, so that when we have areas we want to make contributions, we can do so while you are still on the desk. So it's on that note that I said mixed feelings. Sad to miss a very experienced hand like you, but happy that you ended with good health, ended with good, clear records. Nobody can close his eyes and refuse to see the beautiful structure that is your main office, which is within the presence of the National Assembly. That construction, the thought of it alone, again, was something that has given Nigeria a very good image. And so I congratulate you. The history will not be complete if your name is not mentioned and this commission is not mentioned for your various achievements. I believe myself and my brother, the Right Honorable Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, and the leadership of both the Senate and the House of Representatives will study the reports that you have presented to us. And definitely, where there is need for corrections, we will make corrections. I also believe that some of your members were not very forthcoming in terms of attendance to their duties. You were not working with your full team in most instances. But maybe whenever you held meetings, they were present. But I know whenever I had the opportunity to consult with you, I just saw 2, 3, or 4 people. But today, look at the retinue of people I'm seeing. All of you should have been coming, and we should have been interacting together. The secretary of the commission, have you ever met me before, one-on-one? Except on television, but that is not good enough. That is not good enough. That is not good enough. Even for you to say you met me on television means you don't understand the importance of meeting me 2 years into my tenure as Senate President. So this is what I'm talking about. That it would have been better if you were collaborating. So there is a wrong perception of quasi-independence. Not even quasi-independence, of total independence. The National Assembly Service Commission was created as an act of parliament to manage parliamentary staff. You can't be independent to the extent that you have no business with presiding officers of the National Assembly. Am I right or wrong? So I'm urging my colleagues that is the first amendment that we have to make. We have to amend the Act to enable the Secretary of the Commission and members to realize the need for continuous consultations and collaborations in order to avoid all the problems that we have had with staff. There's no need for staff to go on strike if both the Commission and the presiding officers and the leadership of the National Assembly were constantly discussing. You can't know it all. So where you create a country within a country, and then you feel that the president of the country does not need to have anything with you, and you are on your own. Then you come to the National Assembly, we make appropriation. We budget for you, and after that you are gone. And then you are independent. Even the choice of countries that you visited should have been discussed. Because we would have loved you to visit countries with robust democracies, where you can learn something that will impact on our own democratic practice. I don't know where I'm speaking your minds. Yes. Then you go to countries that have dictatorships, countries that their parliaments are not well defined. What are you going to learn from there? What are you bringing from there to us? Because the world has become one global village. If I mention some of the countries you visited, and I said, whatever you learn there will have no impact on us, those countries will hear. Immediately I stand up from here. Those countries will hear, immediately I stand up from here. Because there are many countries, based on my experience as an executive committee member of the Inter-Parliamentary Union, made up of 180-something countries, 181 countries, that do not practice true democracy. And most of their parliamentarians are selected, and some are nominated by their head of states. They are not elected. So where you have such a situation, where most of the parliamentarians are nominated by whoever is the president of the country, they can't be the same as these distinguished senators and leaders you are seeing, who have to struggle and stand election before they can come here. So you see some of them who have been nominated, and they go there, and some have been there for 25 years. Yes. Some have been there for 20 years, some have been there for 15 years, because they don't have true democracy. And so it depends on who is in power. And so the person will continue to nominate. So if you go to such a country to learn how to manage their parliament, it's not the same thing as a Nigerian parliament that every single person, the 469 members, are duly elected. So if there was that serious collaboration, we don't mind you going to get experience in many of those countries, but we would have been able to choose countries that we think are practicing this kind of democratic system that we are also running. But that is in the past. So, Secretary of the Commission, you didn't do well in saying that, oh, I saw you on television. I hope seeing me on television and not consulting with me will not mean that you have been spending our money while watching me on television. and believing that I will not call you to account. In fact, even because of that statement, I'm going to take a second look at all the reports. I hope I don't see where you expended money, since you felt that the only way you can see the chairman of the National Assembly should be on, while you play a very key role as the secretary of the National Assembly Service Commission. It was not all Uhuru. We have also noticed lapses, which is not akin to your own tenure alone. We have noticed serious reluctance on the part of clerks of National Assembly to vacate office when the constitutional tenure has reached. Very serious. And we've also noticed lethargy on the part of the Commission to enforce the constitutional provision that anybody who has served for 35 years or has attained the age of 60 should vacate office. Sometimes you're afraid to enforce it. But that's what you should do. You should enforce it. And so you will see people coming to me to say, oh, so-so person extended his tenure by so-so number of months. There was even one that they said stayed almost a year, and they had to get police to lock the office. And then others are saying we must have an extension of 5 years. By all means, after all, they have extended for judges and professors of universities. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So that kind of derailed their vision and brought unnecessary politics into the system, because you now have the PASAN, Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, being divided into two: those who support tenure elongation and those who do not support tenure elongation. And so they make them to fight. In fact, recently we got intelligence that some people are even going to go to, what do they call it, the Berekete radio. Berekete radio. Yeah, there's no, Nigeria has not established human rights radio. If it's going to be established, it will be established by law or by the executive. Nothing like that. We have Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria. We don't have human rights radio. Every media house has a right to propagate issues of human rights. So some said they want to take the leadership of National Assembly, the Speaker, the Senate President, to Berekete radio, because they have not done A, B, C, D, E. So I believe that unnecessary politicization of the tenors of your staff due to the action and inaction of the National Assembly Service Commission. Because if you were firm and applied the provisions of the Act to the letter, nobody would dare stay 1 hour longer. I am aware that sometimes you give people letters to go on terminal leave, and you even say they should hand over to people, and they say they ignore you, and you don't do anything about it. You continue as if it doesn't matter. It does matter, because when indiscipline is allowed to creep into the system, it means the system cannot function well. But if you are constantly rubbing minds with presiding officers, we'll tell you, leave that to us. Why do we have offices of sergeant at arms? If any member of the Senate or the House of Reps today were to be suspended for one misconduct or the other, by the time he gets to his office, there's a sergeant at arms waiting. Am I right? Yes, sir. To ensure that he vacates the National Assembly and the environment. And he's not allowed to come within the environment until the period of suspension is over, or until the Parliament recalls the person. But in the case of staff, you issue a letter and say proceed on terminal leave. The person will say, I'm not going on any terminal leave, and will even prevent the person that should take over from entering the office and sit down and be signing checks and doing all sorts of things. Holding meeting and then staying there. And then a person will send message, I'll stay here until the last minute of my work, until the last minute of my annual, working on a daily basis, preventing the person that should take over from taking over. I don't know whether you understand. Yes, that's what I'm saying. So how does the Commission respond to that? You respond to it by either keeping quiet or by telling the person to say, don't be angry that we sent you a letter. We are sorry. Continue in your office. Shema, it's true. You even apologize to the person and said, do we withdraw the letter, or do you want to hold the letter while you go to work? Are some of you aware of what I'm saying? Huh? Huh? They are aware. You are aware. So, but you have made very meaningful contributions to move the service forward. And I can tell you that it's a learning curve. Where you did not do well, we will correct the system. But you have done exceedingly well, and we give you pass mark. And we believe that your tenure was very fruitful. Your tenure has improved the number of staff. Your tenure has really taken care of training and retraining. And it's kudos to you that the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria can find one of your staff retiring, and on that same day we appoint the person as Chief of Staff to the Senate President. Because you were able to train the officer well, and the officer impressed the entirety of the National Assembly. And so we're very reluctant to let such an officer go. That's why Akubo is here with us today. So that's your product. From the clerk of the Senate to Chief of Staff to the Senate President. It has not happened. It's because of you that you were able to train them well. And when I must be honest, when I was a minority leader, it was difficult for us to even go into matters of the day. We're always correcting page by page by page. We'll sit down doing corrections for over 1 hour. And for me, it wasn't a good image to the National Assembly. So when this man took over the office, I came here, and you read everything from beginning to the end. Impeccable English, punctuations, and correct representation of the affairs by Winston. He had no idea that we were all observing him. So it was very easy for us to say this good man, this well-trained man by the National Assembly Service Commission cannot be allowed to leave these premises. He must remain here to continue to. And people don't even know what your commission is there. Some of them can save in your commission. Am I right? And continue to improve the system. So if it is time for you to go, you go. Because there are so many things you can do. Senator Chuchari was Chutari from Taraba. He was a senator, but he's now an outgoing commissioner for 5 years here. If you had remained in the Senate, you wouldn't have been in this other National Assembly Service Commission. Am I right? So I don't see why people, you have served this country meritoriously in many other areas before you were brought in as chairman of National Assembly Service Commission. So I just want to urge that in future, staff who ought to go should try and go. Nobody's pushing you away. Don't take anybody as an enemy. It's a statutory provision and constitutional also. If the Constitution says this is where you earn it, obey the Constitution. It's a ground norm. And where you should enforce it. Don't expect me as a Senate President to come and do your work. Because I don't expect you to come and do mine. So I thank you for this visit, and I actually look forward to it. And so my prayer is that Almighty Allah will lead you home safely. And Almighty Allah will reward you for your good deeds. And wherever you go to, goodness and mercy shall follow you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much, Excellency.
He came in on the 15th of October 2021. So he still has 2 more years to exit. So we'll leave him behind because his letter is very clearly stated. It's for 5 years, and his 5 years will end at on the 14th of October 2026. And that's the representative from the Southeast Zone. So that is for that, Your Excellency.
Okay.
And we have the list of the commissioners who have already been introduced. For us to carry out our function properly, we try to introduce our reforms so as to bring in improvement in service delivery. And in these reforms, what we did is, in the first when it came, we tried to hold retreats with the management staff. We had 3 retreats with the staff of the commission and 2 retreats with the management of the National Assembly, just for us to know how we are moving and ask for advice from them in any areas where they notice any shortfall in terms of the operation of the commission to guide us, because they are the staff on the ground. So we had 3 retreats of the commission and 2 retreats of the with the management of the National Assembly. And that really has given us a lot of focus on what we really wanted to achieve. In the process, Your Excellency, we are able to develop a number of policies that are aimed at improving the service. Quite a number of them. They are listed there on page 3. But most importantly, I think the policies that we will say we have brought in that are to bring improvement in the service, first is the condition of service. The first thing we did was to review the condition of service of the staff. We brought in quite a number of allowances to encourage them to boost their morale. The operations of the staff in the National Assembly is a little bit different from the operations of the staff in the general service. So we try to give them some special allowances to enable them concentrate on their activities. And that's the very first thing that we did when we came in as a commission. And after that, the next important thing that I think we have done is to come with a new scheme of service purposely targeted at the staff of the National Assembly. There are so many cadres that are existing in the National Assembly that are not existing in the public service. So we cannot use the scheme of service of the general public service. So we developed our own, specially domiciled and domesticated in the National Assembly. And this is fully operational now. And that has given opportunity for staff to grow in various cadres within the service. So this is a very important thing. It took us a long time, almost 2 years before we perfected it, but finally we've gotten a perfect document and it's operational now. We have also come out with a promotion policy, so many other policies to improve the service, which I don't need to bother you about, Your Excellency. We have also adopted the revised public service rules that came out from the Office of the Civil Service on the 21st of 2021. We have also introduced some things that are not available to the service here. And with operational, that is also guiding us in all our activities. Your Excellency, we continuously screen the staff of the service to make sure that people have correct certificates to operate here, and people are placed properly. That much we have also done. So from time to time, we review their qualifications, screen them to confirm genuinity of their presence here in the National Assembly service, as far as their, as well as their placements in the service. We have done that much. We have also tried to improve our ICT infrastructure in the Commission to make sure that we try as much as possible to go along with the global trend in ICT developments in the nation. Now, on page 4, Your Excellency, as part of our reform processes also, we have tried to expand the service. In the National Assembly Service Commission, we created 3 new departments headed by directors in the Commission. While in the National Assembly Management, we created 2 directorates headed by the secretaries and 22 additional departments, 22 additional directors. So that gave room for movement for staff to ease the stagnation. When we came in, we found that there is serious stagnation of staff. There was no movement around. So we created additional 22 departments to allow for that, and also 2 directors with 2 secretaries, so that you have an expansion into the system. That may be continuous, but for now, I think this is adequate as it is now. But in future, more and more may come in. Some people are even suggesting that why don't we have a secretary from each state like the way they have in the federal service. But we say that is too large for our system. We have only not more than 5,000 staff, and for you to have 36 permanent secretaries, I think it's too big. So I think for now we are managing with about, I think, 19 or so, which we think is fair for now. So that is how much we have done to really try to ease stagnation of staff in the service. We have also tried, we renamed 2 departments, especially in the National Assembly management. We observed that the title of legal drafting is no longer involved. So we have changed the name of that department to legislative drafting. This is a legislative drafting, not a legal. Legal drafting is more in the Ministry of Justice. Our one is legislative drafting. So we felt that we should change the name of that department to really look at that one. In the commission, we have also done the same thing. We have also tried to change one of our departments from planning, research, and information, and we named it planning, research, and library services. We have a good library, and I think we need to give it adequate attention. Your Excellency, during our time, we had a number of appointments. We have 4 CNS while we are here. We had Omolori, who we retired immediately we came in. His time was up. He didn't want to leave, but we have to tell him that your time is up, you have to go. After Omolori, we had Ojo. Ojo retired, he left. After Ojo, we have Tambuwal. Tambuwal is going in the next 2, 3, 5 days, I think. And then thereafter, we'll have a Komoru who will now take over. We'll work with Komoru for about 5 days before we go. So we have operated with 4 CNS within our time. And we have made a number of appointments thereafter based on retirements. All those ones are on page 5. I think it's not necessary to go through them. The same thing, page 6, all lists of secretaries that were appointed, clerks of departments, clerks of the chambers as they retire. So, Your Excellency, as we go on, we have our promotions, Your Excellency. I'm proud to say at this point, Your Excellency, that every promotable staff in the National Assembly with available vacancy disposition has been promoted. We have never missed a year that we have not undertaken a promotion exercise since we came in. In fact, when we came in, we made a bulk of staff not being promoted. For about 4 years, there was complete stagnation in the system. So the first thing we did was to clear those the backlog of areas of promotions and then started on. So at least 4,000 staff have been promoted within our period, at least, Your Excellency. And that is something that staff are really happy about. They jubilate over that. Your Excellency, promotion, conversions is to do with staff who have acquired new qualifications. Staff who on their own go about, improve their service. Some are clerical officers, they go to study, come in with new qualifications. You convert them from that cadre to an officer's cadre. We have done quite a number of that, and we are happy of the level of development that is happening in the service now. More than 500 staff were able to train themselves, improve their capacities, and we place them appropriately. So, Your Excellency, recruitment, the last recruitment exercise that took place in the National Assembly service was in 2018. Now, thereafter, after retirement, conversions, and these promotions we are talking about, we feel that it's necessary to fill in the gaps. So we have started a promotion exercise. 2024 is being concluded now. The report is being compiled. We are waiting for the management of the National Assembly to finish their documentation so that we can get the final placement of all the staff that we have brought in now. They are doing that, and they promise us that probably by end of January or next month, the new staff should have been payrolled. And it is at that time that we'll now have full details of the gaps. If there are any gaps that are remaining, then we'll let you know. But for now, we are waiting for them to give us the final report. I understand they are almost compiling the rounding of their documentation, and they are working hard to see that they start getting their salary latest by February. So that is one thing that we are working on. Staff training, we have come up with a training policy to ensure that staff are continuously trained to improve their capacity. The world is changing. So we must also be changing with the world, Your Excellency, so we continuously keep on improving on the capacity of our staff. On page 8, Your Excellency, our welfare issues, as much as possible, we put staff welfare as on the front banner in our activities. During activities, we try to make them a little bit happy, and as much as possible, we provide them with whatever we can afford. Similarly, we have also tried to encourage our staff to participate in sporting activities for healthy living. So we encourage them, and they participate in the annual national the civil service games. We encourage them to participate. That's an area where we have also done. Labor relations, yes, as much as possible, we try to relate very well with our labor union here. We have some few pockets of issues with them, but as much as possible, we try to resolve them. Insurance and pension, there are national laws regarding insurance of staff, and as much as possible, we also do that. So on page 9, Your Excellency, would like to let you know that from time on page 9, Your Excellency, we try to go around the states to relate with the sister assembly, state assembly commissions. When we came in, Your Excellency, only 18 states had state assembly service commissions. We tried to encourage them. We went around, we visited all the governors, and now all the 36 states have state assembly commissions. And out of those 36, about 25 are fully functional. We are still working on the others to also try to allow their commissions to function. So that much we have been doing, Your Excellency. We have also tried to visit sister democracies across the world to see how they manage their own personnel. And we have visited a number of countries, Your Excellency. We have been to Cape Verde, we have been to Tanzania, we have been to Zambia, we have been to even UK in London. We have been to Morocco, we have been to Rwanda, we have been to India, we have been to Malawi, and we have been to Angola to see how they manage their own democracy so that we can learn lessons. And indeed, we learn quite a number of lessons. And every time we carry the chairman of our committee and his, my dear brother, you have been to Tanzania, to Angola with us? Rwanda has been to Rwanda and Kigali with us. His Excellency, the chairman of our able committee, has also been to us in one or two places. So we carry them along so that we see what is happening in other democracies, so that we can replicate here. And the trip with them has always been very helpful to us, Your Excellency.
that exchange of ideas. They also tell them what we do here. They tell us what we do. We come and compare, and that has always been very helpful to us. In our last budget defense, the chairman of the committee was asking me, will you normally take two? The chairman and any other member he selects. This time he said we should take 5. I hope you will give us the money to, to take up to 5. So. But it's a very worthwhile venture, Excellency. Very, very worthwhile. We really learn a lot out of it. And it helps us a lot. We also try to attend a few conferences to update our own personal knowledge also. In that one, we have been to Dubai one time, we have been to Tanzania, we have been to Kenya, Nairobi, Kenya, we have been to Canada, Your Excellency, and we have been to Doha in Qatar, all to really try to improve on capacities, which we feel is very important in running a system of this nature. So, Your Excellency, we hold an annual conferences between all the state assembly commissions, all of us. And we have held 2 of such conferences. We had one in Kaduna and one in Abuja here. We really wanted to go to visit. Where was it? Ibadan. We wanted to go to, where was the place we went to go to? Oyo. We were in Ibadan, but it couldn't work. The state was not ready to receive us. So I'm sure the next commission, when they come in, they'll move forward from where we stopped. That also is good because it encourages the state commissions to really be up and do it. And truly, some of the governors don't even understand the purpose of the commissions. So we go there, we enlighten them. We enlighten them, Your Excellency, and we synergize on all those things, Your Excellency. So on page 10, Your Excellency, legislative aid activities, as one of our mandates is to engage legislative aids for the distinguished senators. And Your Excellency, we have been doing that. And one major area which I've always been mentioning to the distinguished senators is frequent changing of these legislative aids. It's very frequent. Yes, sometimes you run in difficulty with your legislative aid and you have to send him away, but the frequency is too high. And the problem there is that once you don't serve for up to 2 years, you are not entitled to any severance package. And most of the time, 1 year, 1.5 years, you send your legislative aid away, and that man will want to be paid something. I've always been saying this, but since that most of us are here now, our principal officers are here, let's take note of this. Let's reduce the frequency of replacing our legislative aids, because if you don't serve up to 2 years, you don't get anything. You bring 1.5 years, he goes, another 1.5 years, he goes, then you end up, your legislative aid will end up without getting any severance package. So that is an area where I think we all need to take note of that. And Your Excellency, another area that we are having issues with the legislative is on the litigations. As of today, we have 67 court cases. And most of these are arising from activities of legislative aids. Some, as I've just said, complain that they are supposed to be paid certain amount of money, which they are not entitled to, and they will not agree with all the explanations I will give to them. They will go to court. And some, unfortunately, arise from criminal activities. I've always been saying this, when we are appointing our legislative aids, we need to screen them properly. Once some of them get this identity card, National Assembly identity card, they commit a lot of things in the names of the senators. So many times we have been having cases, we have been having queries from the security agencies. Confirm to us if this man has been a legislative aid. He has committed something somewhere, he will claim that he was a legislative aid. We now have up to 7 cases in the court, and all arising from issues of this nature. So this is an area that we are doing. I mentioned this during our inaugurations when we came in as new senators, but I still need to emphasize, once we are bringing legislative aids, let's screen them properly. Let's make sure we are bringing the correct people to serve you. It's very, very critical, Your Excellency. So that is an area we have. On page 10, we have a capital projects. Your Excellency, we are able to procure within a 5 years period, we are able to procure operational vehicles for the Commission as need arises. And most importantly, at the end of 2024, we procured 13 Camry vehicles for the incoming Commission. They will start with, so that they don't come in and have nothing to move about. So that much is already there. Brand new Camry vehicles are waiting for them. As soon as they come, they will start using it. And if they need to upgrade it, maybe as they go along in their own budget, they'll be able to upgrade it. But immediately they come in, they have vehicles that they will start using. Maybe when they upgrade to Jeeps, maybe they can use that as their utility vehicles. So on page 11, Your Excellency, we have also procured quite a number of furniture and office equipment during our course as the need arrives. And Your Excellency, we also talked about our head office. Maybe permit me to read that small piece there, item D. We said, as part of the capital projects, the Commission embarked on the construction of a fitting office complex. Since the Commission was established, it has been operating from a rented property, Your Excellency, from one place to another. And the current location is right inside our TACO, and it's not suitable for an office accommodation for a corporate entity like National Assembly Service Commission. So in 2021, we approached the leadership of the Senate, then made that complaint to them, and they graciously gave us the approval to start constructing our new head office within the premises of the National Assembly. That is still ongoing, and I will speak about it in the next page. Your Excellency, ICT, as I've said earlier, we have tried to do quite a number of things to improve our ICT processes. Still, it's a continuous exercise, and we hope the incoming Commission will continue from where we stopped. We really need to upgrade our ICT system, both that of the Commission and this of the National Assembly. It's high time, Your Excellency, we start paperless operation. I think we have visited quite a number of countries, and they're doing very well, small countries, but doing very well with their ICT. Most of their operations are computerized, and we feel we have also reached an age that we should be able to start that one. As much as possible, in the next 5 years, we should start targeting as becoming paperless in our operations. So that is an area that we need to draw your attention to, give encouragement there. So, Your Excellency, we have a in concluding remarks now, we have a 5 years report, which I will present to you. They are in 2 documents. First document is 2020, 2021, and 2022. The second document is 2023 and 2024. Just your staff can go through them and summarize them and let you know of our full activities. Now, Your Excellency, the mandate of the National Assembly Service Commission. The National Assembly Service Commission was established primarily to relieve the presiding officers from the burden of managing parliamentary staff. Managing staff itself is a burden. So the Commission came in to relieve the leadership from. Before then, is the office of, just like the Federal Civil Service, the office of the SGF was handling both the staff and the administration of the government. So it has to be, it was decided it should be separated. Let the head of service handle staff matters. And let the SGF concentrate on governance. So it's the same thing here. The commission is here to take off that burden of management of staff off your head. It's a very difficult exercise. By the time you combine staff matters and that of the legislative activities, you find that you have so much pressure on you. That is why the commission came into existence. And secondly, the commission is come in to ensure that the bureaucracy itself is insulated from the interference from the politicians, the political environment. The staff, as much as possible, should be fully isolated from the legislators. Let them do their staff business. The National Assembly's Commission, to a large extent, was able to achieve these objectives. We have tried as much as possible to see that we isolate the leadership of the National Assembly from staff matters. Your Excellency, however, this is not completely devoid of some soft subterranean influences and some manipulations from the political class. Distinguished senators, be as much as possible. Detach yourself from our staff matters. Allow the commission to deal with that one. That will relieve you a lot of tension. The staff, sorry to say this, there are some of the staff are around because of their closeness to the legislators. They tend to bring all sorts of staff matters to the legislators. Don't listen to them. Any staff who brings any issues to ask him, go and see the chairman of the commission. They bring all sorts of stories, and most of them are not true. You know, they try to placate them, sweeten them to suit their own advantages. And because of the sympathy the legislators have for everybody, they will tend to listen to them. That's just a distraction. Once a staff brings any issue to you concerning personnel matters, just send him to the chairman of the commission. That will relieve you, take off that burden out of you, Your Excellency. So, Your Excellency, the commission, on its own part, as much as possible, will constantly consult with our leaders. We constantly consult. In fact, at times I knock at the door of His Excellency, even at midnight, to discuss certain critical issues concerning the management of the National Assembly, and he always listens. Many a times I've been into his house as late as 12 midnight. Your Excellency, we thank you for that privilege and listening to us with keen ears. We're highly, highly grateful on that one. So, Your Excellency, the next thing I will want to really brief you on is our office complex. When the Fifth Commission embarked on the construction of the office complex in 2021, the intention was the project to be completed within 2 years. That is, by the end of 2023, we were hoping that we will move into that commission. Your Excellency, the idea was for the commission to complete, we are on page 12 now, to complete the relocation and tidy up any remaining activities related to the project before the end of 2025. However, this could not be achieved before the end of 2024, actually. However, this could not be achieved due to actual contractual issues and funding circumstances. Nonetheless, Your Excellency, this project remains a milestone of the Fifth Commission. We are very, very proud of this commission. This is an edifice, a magnificent edifice, which will be a pride to the entire National Assembly. And Your Excellency, by the time that project is completed, I'm sure you will be proud of it. So we humbly request the leadership to continue to provide support for the project to see its completion. We assure you that the project is a magnificent edifice and will be a reference point and a thing of pride to the 10th National Assembly when fully completed. So, Your Excellency, this project is my baby, but I'm handing it over to you, sir. So, acknowledgements, Your Excellency. First and foremost, we thank God Almighty for seeing us through this year, 5-year tenure. There is no need to hide the fact that it was quite stressful, Your Excellency. It's not, I thought it was just a simple act, but when I came in, the policy has pleasure to present to you. One is this very report that I've just read. Two, our annual report for 2023 and 2024. Three, our report for 2021, 2022, and 2020, 2021, and 2022. So it's a complete 5-year report of our activities.